Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Nights of the Turntable. We are here for the, third week consecutively? I think that's
so.
pretty impressive. I think that's pretty impressive.
Quite.
Heck yeah, let me let you know who I got with me. We got Richard Bailey.
What's up, listeners? I understand the last time Charles made a reference to say that there were some of us that were still in 2014, so I'm officially here in 2015 now, back on the show. So, yes, let's get it popping.
Welcome to the new year. New year, new you, right?
Yes.
Who says get it popping anymore?
So apparently he's not in 2015 yet.
Hey,
Like in 1994.
I had to sound hip one way or another.
Word. I've got McDean.
What's up? Let's get it popping.
There you go.
We might have to switch up the rules on this drinking game. We got the
I
homie
really want to talk about some lyrics.
Okay. All right. Well, we got Joe Hova in the building as well.
Yo, what's up?
All right. And just to let you guys know, the drinking game for this week, if you haven't been listening, we're going to do one every week. Some of us are going to participate, but this is mainly for the listeners. This time, every time someone says lyrics, lyrical, anything related to the word lyric, you have to take a sip.
Starting now?
Starting right now. And by the way, we're gonna be talking about Lupe's album, so be prepared to get wasted.
And boy, are the lyrics good.
And let me get my sip on. By the way, I'm drinking the Pabst Blue Ribbon because I'm getting white boy wasted tonight.
PBR!
Uh-oh, Charles is out of money.
That's like the bat signal for being broke, right?
Right.
It's like going to get like
at least you haven't moved to a Steel Reserve or Beast yet.
Hey, man.
It's like going to E&J.
Oh my goodness, E&J. I did that one time only. That was like 2007.
Me too. College was a bad time.
Oh, terrible, man. E&J and Aristocrat? Never again.
Oh.
Done. But let's go ahead and get into what everybody's been listening to lately. We'll start off with you, Richard Bailey. I always put you on the spot because you rarely have something new to add to it.
Oh yeah, for people who know me on the show, they know, this is the guy that be listening to old school music. So therefore, he don't really have too valid of an opinion with the current stuff. But no, I have been listening to Lupe's album, and I know we're gonna have a massive discussion about that.
What do you think of the lyrics?
Sip.
Well, I think the lyrics are great, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Jack. You probably should save what I gotta really say for later, because you will be angry when I say next. So
I don't get angry that easy. So.
Yes, you do, Matt.
No, I don't.
When it comes to certain things, you will get angry.
Fair enough.
All right, but so you've been listening to old school stuff. You listened to the Lupe album. Anything else?
I listened to Lupe. I tried to start to listen to Joey Bada, but unfortunately, I was in a place where it was not safe to listen to too much.
It was just too badass for where you were at.
Yeah.
What?
Too much.
What kind of place were you couldn't
Too
listen to?
bad.
In a place where people don't appreciate lyrics.
Yeah, people they look at me and they say, "Oh, you must listen to music because look at him. You must listen to hip hop music." So I said,
How many beers am I gonna have to go through in this
You
one
should probably
episode?
just grab
All
the
of
case,
them.
dude.
All of them.
It's PBR, so it's all good. So Joe Over, what have you been listening to?
I haven't been listening to much of anything outside of like stuff that I was posting this week. I took the weekend off and I went and hung out with my girlfriend and stuff. So I didn't really do much posting, so I had to play catch up this week. And so basically just anything that I posted on joehovasmf.com. And what was I listening to? Yeah, plug. What was I listening to on the way back? I listened to Future's Beast Mode mixtape. I listened to J. Cole. I listened to Cadillactica on the way back. And I listened to Dot's 1996 album, the pre-mixed and mastered version that I've had on my phone for like 2 months now. Because I had never given it the whip test. Like that's standard. You have to give an album the whip test to see if it's good. And
For those ill-informed, would you care to explain to them what the whip test is, sir?
The whip test means that you take an album or a mixtape that you made or whatever, and you play it in your car. And if it sounds good in your car, then it passes the whip test.
Oh, see, I thought that's where you put whipped cream in your ears and then proceeded to listen to the album.
I hate you, Matt.
What artist needs to be filtered through whipped cream and actually sound good? Do you have a list of these artists, Matt? Please
Actually, I feel that I could come up with a list pretty quick. Migos, more Migos.
So you're actually using the whipped cream to like muffle the sound.
Gucci Mane, Rick Ross.
I'd rather have a solid earplug, bro.
Oh man. I feel like I could go on for a while, but we'll leave it there so we can move on with the show.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much all I've listened to.
And Matt just shot it down. What have you been listening to, dude?
I went back and listened to Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap. I was listening to that earlier today. Still like that album. And then a lot of Lupe's new record. I've spun that thing a lot. I really, really like it, but we'll get into that later.
Because of the lyrics?
Oh yeah, the lyrics are great.
Really? If you had to choose one word, well, hold on, let me get these 2 sips in real quick.
If I were to describe Lupe's album in one word, lyrical.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I saw on Twitter that Hannibal Buress was listening to it, and he tweeted Lupe and he said, "Dude, I really love this album. Could you make a dumbed down version so I can listen to it when I'm drunk?"
I need a dumbed down version for when I'm fucking sober.
Yo, Hannibal Buress.
It certainly is there's a lot in there, isn't there?
There's a ton of lyrical content in there.
Drink.
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into. Oh wait, I need to say what I've been listening to. My bad. I've been listening to Lupe's album. I've been listening. No. PBR. No, sir. I've been listening to Lupe's album a lot because I'm trying to, not just because like it's a good album. I'm seriously trying to figure it out. There's a lot of it I do not understand yet. Joey Bada's album.
Apparently.
I do understand that that's a piece of shit. I understand that perfectly clear. Actually,
it's not. It
is terrible.
It's definitely one of the best songs.
And it's like Lupe knew that was gonna be the song that I just liked because he threw the fucking banjo in front. Like, hey Charles, you're not gonna enjoy this. Go ahead and delete it from the fucking album.
Wait, what song is it?
It's called Dots and Lines.
Okay.
Fucking banjo solo before and after. Like that shit is bookended to let you know it's a piece of shit. Delete it from the track list.
So that's Dreadlock Lupe doing that. And not
yeah, that's
Lupe.
long. Yeah, long hair Lupe snuck in and dropped dots and lines. And Matt just loves that shit.
I like this song. I think it's one of the best. It's one of the most well written. Because I'm
look,
this time I'm not even trying to say it, but I'm really about like really intricate like lyrical progression, and this has it in droves. Like
let me say that probably the reason Matt likes it is because all white people like a banjo for some reason.
Aren't you white, Joe?
I am.
It was like hypnotism. Like soon as like the song starts,
as soon as white people hear a banjo, we're like, shit, we're toe tapping.
Joe said, no, not Joe. Matt was writing his review probably. As soon as he heard that banjo, he was like, all right, I got to touch on this.
Actually, for my review, I have a hard time pulling out quotes that aren't from Dots and Lines. Like, I just want to have fun to them. It's so good. It's so good.
I hope you don't quote that horrible hook. That's just as bad as Heart Donor.
The hook is not, like, you might not like it, but the hook is really well written and not junk. And I will explain why once we go into it.
You know what? I will wait until we talk about the entire album. But I've been listening to those 2 projects. I was listening to a lot of MF Doom today, actually. I listened to Operation Doomsday and Food. And what else did I listen to? The Mark Ronson album, which is not hip hop, but
Uptown Funk.
I've heard that's really good.
Uptown Special.
Dude,
Uptown Special.
I tweeted out. I was like, why is no one talking about this? Because
Uptown
this
Special is great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I've been listening to that too.
Really good.
Yeah,
and like the Mystical song, I heard them perform that live, and it sounds really good on the album. I was a little worried about that, but
yo, he has Mystical on there, and who's like the classic like person that he has on there?
Like Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
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 How do you have Mystical and Stevie Wonder on the same album?
Very,
it works.
very easily because it works so well. It's like this skinny ass white boy that's doing like straight up '70s funk music. It's
I love it.
fantastic. I
It
love
is
it.
so good, and like this, just the songs are so different from each other, but they maintain a similar sound.
I remember hearing what was it, Uptown Funk, which was the single, and at the time the record wasn't out. I'm like, when am I gonna get this damn record? Because it doesn't sound like any of Mark Ronson's other stuff.
Right, and when I heard the Uptown Funk song, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't know it was just gonna be him. I thought it was a collaborative effort between him and Bruno Mars, and even then, I was like, this is gonna be good. And then
I actually like what we got better, that it was a collaborative effort between him and a lot of artists.
Yes, I agree. And that sound that he went for translates well for a lot of these different artists. Like, I mean, it opened with the Stevie Wonder harmonica solo, and I was like, yep, I am in.
How are you okay with the harmonica, but you have a problem with the banjo?
Very different.
Both used in bluegrass.
Very different. Plus, considering how he plays it, because I mean, harmonica can be annoying as shit. If I play harmonica on the show, you're gonna be pissed at me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And banjo sounds like a mass group of people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, but the white people will tap their toes.
Yep. And we gotta play. We play the bottles, the jugs with the X's on them.
Every time I hear a banjo, I have to refrain from yelling "yeehaw."
See,
and
look at
tipping my
that.
hat off.
And you want to
Look
play
at
like if you hear a banjo and you have spoons in your hand, like you try to play spoons on your thigh.
Joe, being a white person, you
White people problems.
White people problems. When you hear a banjo, don't you just want to line dance?
I do.
We need to change the drinking game. Anytime white people problems appear on the show, you have to drink.
Oh God! Moving on.
Okay, going into the first topic. Over on Billboard.com, I saw an article about Chance the Rapper and Christina Milian donating $100,000 to Chicago schools. In the news, a lot of people, when it comes to Chicago, rarely are the good things spoken of. So it was awesome to be able to see something like this and get a headline. Thankfully. How did y'all feel about it? I'll start with you, Matt.
I mean, giving money away to any charity is usually a good thing. I just hope it wasn't just a publicity stunt, and that it will be going. I'm sure it'll go to the uses that they say it's going to go to, which is bolster computer labs and increase Wi-Fi access. But sometimes when I see my gut reaction when I see any famous person, whether it's an artist or a computer programmer or anyone that's in the spotlight, give away money, and when it's covered like this, my first gut reaction is PR stunt. I hope that's not the case, but it's hard not, because we've seen it happen so many times. It's hard not to have that reaction.
But see, I think the thing though, because Chance is from Chicago, so I don't think it's a PR stunt at all.
Bill Gates is from Seattle and gives a bunch of money up there, right? That doesn't mean that it's like, I feel like the louder it is, the more we hear about it, the more likely it is to be a PR stunt. There are so many famous celebrities that give hand over fist kind of money, and they do it so quietly because they don't want this kind of thing, that they don't want people to be saying exactly what, or even thinking what we're thinking now.
Well, I think the difference between like Bill Gates giving all that money to Seattle and Chance doing $100K is like, we don't know much about Bill Gates, I should say, but we know Chance. Like, we know him through his lyrics and stuff. So I think it's more of a genuine thing coming from him.
Yeah, and there are things that Chance has done that have not been publicized as much. Like, this isn't the beginning of him doing things for Chicago.
His philanthropy.
Yeah, he's been doing like stuff at the schools quite often for like the last few years. So
before I saw it, like, I opened this and I was reading it and it said 100,000, I was just like, damn, how does Chance have that much money? But I didn't realize like it was like a fundraiser type thing. And so
yeah,
LJ
Catfish on Twitter said the same thing, because he was like, how does an independent artist give 100,000?
Yeah. Well, LJ said, is it wrong that the first thing that I thought was, how does Christina Milian have $10,000?
Oh, that is wow. Hey, but that is much more accurate, though.
Yep.
That is much more accurate. Richard Bailey, how'd you feel about it, man?
We have one question. Now, first, before I ask that question, let's say it's good to see people give back. Always good to see that. But I have to ask the question, how long until we start hearing the rumors that Christina Milian is messing around with Chance the Rapper?
Seeing that picture, that tweet right now.
Oh, I saw the picture.
Right.
I know that Lil Wayne saw it and got pissed off as well right after he saw it. So
He
I
probably
have no
when they're
real.
fronting towards the
I don't really know if it's a publicity stunt. You know, if they're trying to give back, that's good. But you know, I guess if they're trying to do more than that, then you know, okay, it's an ulterior motive here. Does he have an album that's about to come out sometime soon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
This isn't the beginning of him doing this stuff. Like it's not like I think it's more someone caught the story and promoted it. I don't think it's like his PR group putting this out.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but when you go into something like this, you have to expect that it might get picked up, right? And I guess it says something that it wasn't exactly his money, that he was just kind of the face for the what was it, the Get Connected program, the Internet Essentials or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's not the first time people have hired celebrities to promote their charities, or had celebrities involved to promote their charities, I should say.
Well, this is true, but let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question. Would this have made the news it had made if it was just him and not Christina Milian? Because you do know that she is filming a reality show now, so I'm pretty sure you may see some of this footage on that show.
Probably.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I still think that it would have made headlines even if it was Chance, because it's Chance giving back to his community.
Chance is more popular than the whole Chicago thing.
I got you.
I don't know. I'm okay with it. Like, at the end of the day, publicity stunt or not, some children that really needed it got $100,000.
Yeah, you know, I totally agree with that. Like we're focusing on like the negative of it, I guess. Like the thing that matters is these kids are going to get help, you know, and it's in a city where the public school system needs help like all the time.
For sure. Yeah. And I guess speaking of money, how about those sales projections for the Lupe Fiasco and Joey Bada albums?
Oh, here we go.
Rich, do you feel a certain way about that?
He says sales projections?
Yeah.
Well, before I get to the sales projections, I do have to say something about the Lupe album, since you decided to bring in the whole financial situation in here. Let's talk about the album for a quick second. I think the album is excellent, with the exception of the song that Charles has already mentioned, is absolutely trash. Now, I'm not going to say it's one of the worst songs on the album because Matt, I know that you love that song, so
you can dislike it. That doesn't bother me.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have a little bit more respect with that, but I will.
Are we talking about the Banjo Kazooie song?
Yeah, we're talking about Dots and Lines.
Dots and Lines.
Dots and Lines, not Banjo Kazooie. All right, cool.
Yes. But there are plenty of other good songs on this album. We're gonna talk about that further. But as far as the sales go, I would like to hope that Lupe's album will sell well. I mean, this is not the typical. Lupe has had some disappointments in the past. He's had good albums and he has some disappointments. This album definitely a step up from the bad one, so I hope it sells well. I know that Joey Bada has the, he got popular off of the XXL mentions, so I would expect his album to do well also, but still comparing both, I will hope Lupe sells more. I'm not 100% certain.
Well, according to the projections from Hits Daily Double, and this is a republish from Hip Hop DX, they think that the Joey, and this is including stream numbers and digital downloads, they think that Joey Badass's album will sell somewhere between 50 and 55, possibly upwards of 60, where the Lupe album will probably only sell between 30 and 35 with a streaming count of up to 40. No, it's not.
Wow.
But they still think it's going to be above the. They still think it's going to be above the new Nicki Minaj and J. Cole's latest sales numbers. So.
No, but when it's like
Drink.
it's just barely beating his. Is mine cutting out again?
A little bit, yeah, but try to work through it, I guess.
Honestly, I think these sales are slightly disappointing.
Slightly. I mean,
slightly disappointing for the first week.
This is the album that like Lupe fans have been supposed to be ready for. Like this is the one where Lupe's supposed to go back to old Lupe.
Yeah, but keep in mind how much shit he's put them through up until this point.
I don't care. It was all worth it.
I think the sales for it are gonna trump Joey Badass in the long run, but it's gonna take a minute for these fans to jump back in on Lupe's side. In my opinion.
I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, he's alienated his fans for like the last 2-3 years.
Exactly.
You think it was him that alienated his fans, or you think it was Atlantic? Because I always blamed him.
Both. But well, it's both. Atlantic is at fault too. But the major thing is Lupe and the way he acts on social media. And while some people don't, they don't care about how an artist acts on social media, the majority of people do, and they see that stuff and it puts them off.
I don't even follow his. I try not to follow artists' Twitter and stuff like that. Specifically, I have a junk account for all that, but specifically because I don't care, and I tend to have always been able to separate an artist's art and they're kind of like for instance, I still like Kanye records, and Kanye is a fucking asshole.
True. That's about the one artist. Him and Jay are about the two artists that I can separate it from. Everybody else, if I see you acting up on like a social media platform or something, I can't.
Wait a second. I hate to interrupt, but I have to interject because Matt says something that I have to get at him for saying.
Sure, go for it. Come at me, bro.
Matt, let me tell you, I'm a Kanye fan as well, but that most recent track with Paul McCartney, what the hell was that shit?
I'm not sure I heard that yet.
No.
Oh man,
that bad?
That was absolutely horrible.
I don't think it
had horrible tracks, and that's it. Still doesn't stop late registration and college dropout from being good records. It doesn't stop.
But there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference because Kanye doesn't really attack his fans. And Lupe went straight at his fans, which is the difference between Kanye being an asshole and Lupe being an asshole.
I mean, Kanye is kind of. Do you remember that incident where he made everybody stand up, and then there was one lady with a plastic leg at a concert. He made everyone stand up. One lady with
okay, but that's like a mistake. That was a stupid fucking mistake to me.
It still came out pretty arrogant, man.
That's not like talking to your fans and telling them that they fucking suck or something like Lupe does.
Well, okay, give me an example of something, because I don't follow. Give me an example of something that Lupe has done on social media that really puts you off.
Oh God.
Anybody?
I thought he's off social media now. Didn't he say he was
is
off?
now?
Well, for starters, he locked his Twitter account. Who in the hell has a locked Twitter account when you're somebody of that status?
Who the hell has a locked Twitter account, period?
Exactly.
When has he straight up insulted his fans on Twitter or social media, though?
See, that's the thing. I don't follow him, and I know Charles follows it more closely. So whenever his mic stops cutting out, I know he can interject if he can hear us.
Like the most recent time is when he took Kendrick's side on the whole.
Oh, the Mike Brown stuff.
And Lupe with Lamar. When people started talking to Lupe.
Oh, he's cutting out.
Him the whole time?
That's awful.
A little bit. You're cutting in and out again, man.
Yeah.
I would just like to say this is the after effects of the drinking game. But allow me to allow me to continue where he left off at. Yeah. I don't know of any other incidents with Lupe. This is my first time hearing about him attacking his fans, so I was rather surprised that this is the way that he treats his fans.
Charles just posted in the chat. He says he kept posting memes making fun of them the whole time.
Oh,
Whenever
Okay.
the Kanye, or the not the Kanye, but the Kendrick situation that he was trying to talk about.
yeah. So now, what about the whole situation with you know, what was going on with Azalea Banks and his little arguments with her?
Oh, he took Iggy's side in that one.
Oh,
And the same thing kind of happened with that, where he was making fun of his fans when they tried to question him about it or whatever. And it's like he'll do that stuff, and then when they cut at him, he's like, well, don't you remember the stuff from back in the day? And then he tries to like insult their intelligence and shit. And I'm like,
So basically, it's if you don't agree with me, you're stupid.
basically.
I don't. Yeah, I
Now,
don't.
now I watched him do an interview. Talked about a few things and gave.
Yeah, you're cutting out again, bro.
Yeah. Tonight is not your night, man.
Just screw this whole.
Screw this whole thing.
yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess you guys. Let's just move into the next topic and let's discuss the album itself. Like we haven't really.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on it, and
touched on it.
I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I'm probably gonna listen to it at some point. I didn't listen to what was that, Food and Liquor 2? I didn't listen to that much. So this will be my first time like listening to Lupe, you know, and probably since Lasers, because it like the
Lasers
stuff,
was
you know,
fun.
yeah. So like because a lot of the stuff he's done has put a stale taste in my mouth for listening to him, but
Yes.
I'm gonna listen to it at some point. But if you guys since you guys have listened to it, talk about it.
Charles says, "Talk about Mural and 9 minutes of rapidy rap that made his fans believe in him again." All right, I'll start. I'll start there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the record starts off with this track called "Summer," and I feel it's important to preface this. There's four kind of instead of having skits, there's four interludes that are all named after seasons. And what's kind of cool about the record is he basically kind of gives an introduction to the instrument set that will be used in that portion of the record, and then you'll hear those instruments used throughout, like until the next one comes up. But Mural, he just goes off for like straight 9 minutes. It's like a 9-minute track, and there's not really a hook. He just goes to freaking town with like these complex schemes on a variety of subject matters, and he just goes off. Like I knew from that moment that like I'm like, oh my God, Lupe's back. He's back. This is exactly the record we wanted, and I'm glad we got it. I assume Charles. I don't know if Charles's opinion's similar, but I really liked Mural.
I would like to say that I also like Mural. And you know, I especially like the song after Mural, "Blur My Hands."
I like Blur My Hands too.
My favorite songs on the album. But you know, of course, no. Wait, what did you say, Matt? You said something?
I liked it too. I didn't think it was maybe I need to go listen to it a couple more times, but it wasn't necessarily a standout for me. It was a good track.
I got you. Yeah, well, I guess you know if you was to compare that to Mural, Mural definitely would be a standout as far as those two are concerned. But you know, yeah, I do like the interludes as well that he put in there.
Yeah, those are great.
But however, you know, and again, you know, Mural was great. Blur My Hands was good. Then that was when I heard that little song.
Well, before we go into that little song, Charles says that he feels that Blur My Hands was a solid attempt at radio music. Still not dumbed down as much, but it rides well.
Yeah.
Going into the next track, going into the next track, it seems like it was everybody's least favorite except for mine, and that's Dots and Lines.
The banjo song.
Say what?
The banjo song.
The banjo song. Yeah, it opens up with this banjo solo, and
Well,
Yeah, I can understand if like kind of aesthetically and sonically you didn't like it. Like I can even understand if the hook kind of just wasn't your style. I still think the hook was well written, even if it wasn't kind of sonically pleasing to your ears. Like I liked it, but that hook is starting with that hook. Dots and lines sucks. It hurts my ears. The hook is a rusty dull comb and scratched it across my brain. Took a rusty dull comb and scratched it across my brain. No,
that sounds
that,
good.
that hook was great. That hook was absolutely fantastic because it sets up the concept for the entire song, and the concept for the entire song is it's for one, as far as the scheme goes, it's actually really mathematically complex. I won't go into that too much, but the hook sets that up. It goes, "You look just like how I wanna be," sacred geometry, in a line, 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 5 times, and then he goes, "Three angels in a kind, on time, go straight, don't sign," but sign is spelled S-I-N-E, like the mathematical version of sign. So the sacred geometry, like sacred geometry is kind of like people that believe in sacred geometry talk about it as if it's the foundation for all art and music, right? So you look how I want to be sacred geometry, right? Like he sees art in other people and not in himself. And then when he says a line 5 times, he's talking about a square. And then he says 3 angels in a kind, 3 angles in a kind. It's a triangle. On time, talking about 4 and 4 bars, go straight, don't sign, right? And then the entire both verses that are in the track, or all 3 verses, I'm sorry, are just a series of math punchlines. Like everything in there is pretty much a math punchline. I thought it was freaking great, and it's one of those tracks that the more you listen to it, the better it gets. And sure, maybe not sonically pleasing to begin with, like, and that's fine. I get that. You know, like it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea there, but you can't knock the lyricism. The lyricism was solid. It was really good.
Well,
That's 2 drinks.
I know that Charles left the comment. So you should say that comment first, then I have a response as well.
You want me to say the comment from Charles?
Yeah, let's because I think once you say it, then you will fully understand how much disdain he has for this song. So go ahead.
I think you will. It says, "Dots and lines sucks. It hurts my ears. The hook took a rusty dull comb and scratched it across my brain. I wanted to cry. Matter of fact, I thought it was a fucking troll for people that downloaded the leak. I was like, nah, this ain't on the album. Lupe trolling. And I bought the CD, and guess what? It's fucking there. I wish I could delete it from my CD. How does anyone know how to hack CDs? Hack mine and delete it. I'll be happy. It got worse for me, in reference to the fact that the more I listened to it, I still liked it,
So
I will say, since even though I haven't heard it, like my brain doesn't do math, and when you were explaining that to me, I could feel my brain melting, just like it did when I was taking geometry class. It sounds like bullshit.
It was. I loved it. I thought it was an awesome concept, and I thought it was played out real well.
let me just say this. I appreciate the explanation for the song because I figured with dots and lines. So I figured before you told me what it actually means, I figured, well, when he's talking about lines, maybe he meant, somebody needs to be doing cocaine lines in order to understand what this song means. So thank you very much for giving me a little bit of explanation.
I mean, I can understand why people didn't like it, especially sonically. It doesn't necessarily fit with a lot of hip hop, but the lyrics were just amazing. They were one of the standout moments in that song, or in that track, or on that album. I mean, I'm sorry, on that album.
Charles says, and I hate math so that too, except for when I'm adding up how many ways I dislike the hook on that song. Rich has the dopest build-ups for punchlines, man.
Oh yeah, we had to keep it real with that song.
Keep it rail. Did you say was that an unintentional pun? Keep it rail.
Oh yeah, no. We just had to keep it real, and that I'm glad that you also said it's a banjo, cause as soon as I heard that, I was like, nah, what the hell is this? Sound like it's a country music song. And I said, well, wait a second, this is a hip hop album, right? So it was a little confusing.
I mean, once the beat dropped, it felt like a hip hop song to me. The banjo is like warning bullshit incoming.
We should do more shows like this.
Yeah. I was just thinking that we need to do all our shows like this.
Oh man.
No, I'm just playing.
So overall, then, do you guys feel like Lupe's back?
I do. This was exactly the album I wanted, at least, right? And I'll go as far as to say I think it's one of his strongest projects ever.
Whoa! I'm not gonna ever. Well, wait a second.
Ever, yeah.
That's a strong statement.
It's a pretty strong statement. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but for me, it's up there on par with Food and Liquor and The Cool, which I thought were. I probably like Food. I go back and forth. Like 1 week I'll think Food and Liquor is better. 1 week earlier this week while I was waiting for the album to drop, I was listening to The Cool. So I go back and forth, but I think it's up there with those. Like basically for me, how it was Food and Liquor and The Cool, everything else from Lupe, and now it's Food and Liquor, The Cool, and
this album.
Tetsuo and Youth. Like that one's in that category.
Would you say that he's at his most lyrical on this one?
Yeah, I think for once, like even in Food and Liquor, there were times where it was kind of dumbed down. I don't even know if that's the right word, but simplified at times to kind of make it have radio appeal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I feel like this time, since it was his last record on Atlantic and basically, his last on contract, they didn't have to release it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lupe knew that. He said, fuck it, and I'm going to make the record I want to make. You can release it if you want to. And that's exactly what we got.
What do you think, Rich?
Here's the thing. I very much enjoy Food and Liquor and The Cool. I enjoy them a lot more than this album. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad album. It is a decent album. It's a hell of a lot better than Lasers. That's for certain.
Anything's better than Lasers. Even that banjo track's better than Lasers.
And you haven't even heard it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
we love banjos. So.
However, I'm not going to say that he is back fully yet because I want him to put out an album where he has full control over when the album comes out. You don't have to worry about stuff getting leaked out ahead of schedule. You ain't got to worry about going through any of the politics with publishing on a particular platform. So I say that the best is still yet to come from him. This album is good. It's a good start, but he still got more to convince me that he is fully back because of songs like Dots and Lines. I can't get that beat out of my head now because you kept saying it for the whole show. So yeah.
I mean, obviously there was somebody out there that liked it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who enjoyed it. I guarantee you I'm not the only one who liked that song.
If you like Dots and Lines, email Matt
at don'tgivemyfuckingemail.com.
This is what Charles said in the chat. He said, Tieto and Youth is unfiltered, less tamper with Lupe that fans have wanted for many years, and keep in mind that this is his last album. Responsibility with Atlantic. In the interview, he mentioned possibly signing with someone else. Any ideas who'd he sign with?
Rhymesayers? I mean, it is Midwest.
True.
It's his style.
Interesting.
I don't know. At this point, I think people like Macklemore have shown that you can go independent, but I don't know if that would work for Lupe.
Charles says Rhymesayers would be perfect.
Well, wait a second. You say he has offers. Who else provided him with offers, or he didn't go into any details about any of that stuff?
I'm sure he didn't go into details, but maybe Charles has something. Yeah, he didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you say who you don't want him to sign with? Cash Money at the top of that list. Who else?
No Rockefeller. None of the big guys. I just don't think he's going to do well on any major label. I think it's going to be the same kind of shit he ran into with Atlantic.
Yeah, and I think Atlantic has scarred him forever for signing with a major label.
Truthfully, I think he should just put a studio in his basement and do this shit himself.
Yeah.
Hire in producers, whatever, do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Charles just said, but there was a picture with him and Quest who's repping Wise Up or something. The pic looked like it was taken right after. Maybe those things are related. Possibly. But, I mean,
Maybe.
that's kind of one of those things.
Speculative.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, we're going to speculate over for a while, I guess.
Like I said, truthfully, I think he'd just be better putting a studio in his basement, man. Just do it himself. Not just do what Chance does and just put that shit out on the internet when you feel like it, for how much you feel like it, free or otherwise, and just stay in your lane and let your fan base get your shit.
So we didn't talk about the Joey Badass album. We talked about the projections and stuff. Have either of you got a chance to listen to it?
Before we move on, Charles, one last thing. Charles says he needs someone to tell when songs like Dots and Lines are a bad idea. I have not listened to the Joey Badass album. I've been told I should. I've been told it's kind of just hyper-aggressive, East Coast style lyricism with boom bap beats, so that kind of turns me off, but I don't know. Have you?
I have not. Charles says that there's a Joey's Badass review on the site, so check that out, thecoalition.com. I'm actually going to be listening to it so I can review it for redefined.com. So I haven't listened to it yet, and I haven't. My thing with Joey Badass is I saw that he pigeonholed himself, and he got mad about himself pigeonholing himself, so it made me not really want to give him a chance. And like you said, it's like the boom bap 90s sound. Like, this is 2015. Like, you leave that stuff for like a throwback hip hop station.
Right. We don't need more of that kind of stuff. We already got Biggie and Pac and all that.
Yeah. Rich, did you get to listen to it?
No, I have not gotten a chance to listen to it. I really wanted to listen to it because I heard that it was better than the Lupe album. So now I definitely am going to listen to it. Yeah, I got to check it out.
Charles, who has listened to it, said a year ago or so, people were discussing how there was no New York sound anymore, quote unquote. And he says Joey Badass has that sound, and it's authentic New York hip hop. So for people that want that, it's there. Here you go, Joey Badass.
That, or you can go listen to Mobb Deep.
Oh,
they're projecting it's going to sell better than the Lupe record, right? So somebody wants it.
Those projections are off the charts.
We'll see. I guess next week we can talk about and see how correct those projections were.
True.
I will say this. I bet the people who came up with those projections are probably some of the fans that felt attacked by what Lupe said about them.
Maybe, but usually those projections are pretty accurate because they have to do with shipping numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's always this chance that digital download will just swoop in and storm one of these records and they'll sell a ton of them. But usually these records are relatively close because it has to do with how many of the record were printed and shipped.
I got
you know what's crazy is that Joey Badass is projected at like 50,000 or something like that, and that's what YG's album sold last year when everybody said, "Oh, YG has the best album of the year," and da 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 da. And like, I have a feeling people are going to be saying the same thing about Joey Badass too, and it's only projected 50,000.
Right, and at this point, J. Cole's record, which dropped from 7 to 10 and sold 27.7 last week, has gone gold, over gold. It's at 685.9 right now, so that very well could go platinum.
Yeah, I think that'll go platinum before spring.
Yeah, I think it will too. I think it'll keep creeping up.
Okay, so let's move on. And we got this topic. Actually, it's from my homie Jadron, who's on Twitter. I can't say his @name because it has a word that I'm not allowed to say in it. So he wanted us to talk about the legacy between T.I. and Jeezy and who has the better legacy.
I mean, I'm not really a fan of either of them. If I have to pick one, I'm going to say T.I. because at least there's a few T.I. songs that still get stuck in my head. So if that says something for his legacy, then there you go. And I also
go ahead.
I was going to say I also remember that story from a few years ago when T.I. was about to go to jail for a gun charge, and allegedly he's driving down the street in his car and he hears on the news radio station that some dude's about to jump from a building. So he drives to said building, convinces the police to let him go up on the top of said building and convinces the guy to step down and not jump. So I got mad respect for that, assuming, obviously people were talking about, oh, PR, trying to get out of jail, but I don't know. With that, I legitimately don't buy it. You can't plan for something like that. I thought that was cool.
My thing with T.I., like I grew up listening to, like, that was like the soundtrack to high school and college for me.
Did you pretty much the whole time have a 9 in your right and a 45 in your other hand? And Chevy's all colors, man?
Yes, I did. But my thing, like, I listened to Jeezy, like, I got put on Jeezy right before I started college, and I bought TM 101 when I was in college, or no, it was the summer before college, and that was the soundtrack to my summer. Like, I mean, there's no better legacy to have than TM 101 unless it's trap music. Like, those are two solid albums from those two artists where that stuff wasn't even talked about for the most part. Like,
and pretty much trap music and Paper Trails are the only two things I ever listened to from T.I., and I think both those records are pretty decent.
See, and here's what Charles is going to say. T.I.'s album destroyed Jeezy when you put them 1 versus 1, but you have to consider the garbage T.I.'s put out since King. Trap Music and Urban Legend are amazing albums to me, classics in my library. King, not far behind. I listened to TM 101 recently, and it didn't impact me like T.I. albums have continued to. I think, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's it's the bias. Whatever you resonate with more, and I resonated more with Jeezy just because it was something different than everything I had ever heard before. Like, I had listened to T.I. before I heard Jeezy, and I was like, yeah, he's cool. He can really rap. But Jeezy wasn't like, he didn't come out like T.I. was kind of lyrical in a dope boy sense. Jeezy, on the other hand, he was like this street lyrical dude. And he was just like trying to rap, I guess, and he did it. I don't know.
Well, from what I understand, most of T.I.'s stuff was up until Paper Trails. Mm-hmm. Was all like quote unquote freestyle. Now, mind you, he probably had some of this shit, written in his head and kind of conceptual ideas in his head, stuff he'd memorized. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, up until Paper Trails, he never really took the time to write anything down, which I think is admirable because some of that stuff still sounded pretty well constructed. I mean, there were a lot of times when he rhymed man with man, but at least he tried.
But the thing about legacy is it's not about what you did in the beginning too. It's about like the middle and the end of like your career, and at the end of T.I.'s career, I mean, it's it's going on right now. And he's like, I don't know, like his music just doesn't impact me as much anymore.
Yeah, and Charles has something to say on that too. He says like, consider Jeezy's mixtapes though, like that's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, Jeezy's mixtape are like what made him basically in the first place. And he says Jeezy's much better than him now, and I totally agree with that. Seen It All was really good, whereas that Paperwork album sucked.
Right. I think T.I.'s about finished. I don't think there's a whole lot. Honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot either of those artists can really say. They're both kind of, like T.I.'s.
You can only rap about like selling dope for so long, unless you're Jay-Z.
Even he doesn't really necessarily just rap about selling. You know what I'm saying? He still he has an angle he takes that just works for Jay-Z, and it's not going to work for everybody else.
Yeah. What do you have to say, Rich?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say this. I'm not really a big Jeezy fan. Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of his stuff. It's pretty good. As for T.I., I've heard some of T.I. stuff. I'm definitely not a T.I. fan. And I say he lost a step, not just because of the music, but because look who he backing now.
Iggy.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good. You want to talk about legacy? There's a. Yeah, but hey, Iggy's selling records though, right? So, we're gonna go out of rap for a second, but I really dislike Nickelback, and but I can't knock them too much because at the end of the day, they're selling out concerts and selling out records. So what the fuck do I know? I can't sell out I couldn't sell out a concert hall.
Nickelback.
I just used it as an example.
Nickelback. Oh man. And the whole Iggy thing, like that's gonna scar like everything because now you don't like when I think of Ti now, I think that he's one of those, he's just Iggy's, boss.
Spokesman.
Yeah. Whereas like when I used to think of Ti, I'm like that's the dude who made trap music, like that.
That's
enough.
the dude who went to jail for running guns.
Yeah.
Like that's still the thing when I think in my mind when I think Ti. That dude went to jail for running guns.
Yeah.
Let me say something real quick though. T.I. is from Atlanta, correct?
Yep.
I have lived in Atlanta for 7 years, and I have not seen any people around here that's tough guys. They want to be tough guys. They ain't no tough guys. So I ain't trying to take a shot at T.I., but I say that some of that image needs to be reevaluated a bit because.
And he tried to. Like once he started getting into later T.I., like
he did the reality show.
Yeah, and even Paper Trails, he tried to get into this kind of backpack wearing, God loving, kind of just more philosophical T.I. as opposed to the I sell cocaine T.I. that we got before, which I liked, but then after he just kind of fell off after that. But Paper Trails to me felt like a pivotal moment. Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna have some shit ahead of me, and he sat down and wrote a good record. Then he got out of jail, and he's like, well, guess that's all over, and then he just wrote a bunch of garbage again.
But see, this is what I don't understand. Them gun charges. What the hell does he need all them guns for? I don't see no Crips and Bloods walking around Atlanta.
I think he was running them for money, dude.
Oh, okay. I got you. That makes sense then. Can be protection.
No, I'm pretty sure it was just a cash money deal kind of thing. Like he was just trying to make money.
Yeah.
Which tells you like what your records must not have been selling that well. Either that or you're just really greedy.
Charles commented in the chat. He says Iggy's music sells because white teens can now use her songs as an excuse to rap with a black accent and make fun of black girls.
Ooh.
And he is absolutely right.
There might, as much as that stings, there might be a little bit of truth in that.
Yep. There was actually, this wasn't on the list, but I just thought of it, and I was thinking about it earlier, and I wanted to bring it up. Did you guys happen to hear about the Jay-Z Funk Flex thing?
No.
Yes, I have. It's also on the website.
Okay, yeah, check that out, Coalition, thecoalition.com. Rich, what do you think of it?
I thought there was some very interesting stuff that he had to say, but I do question where all these facts came from. Is this because he has deep hatred for Jay-Z, or is a lot of this stuff true?
My thing, okay, I come from a radio background. I've been doing radio for 10 years now, and Funk Flex gets away with so much bullshit on the air that it pisses me off from a radio standpoint and from a person standpoint because Flex been doing the same shit for 20 years. Who cares anymore? Who still cares about Funk Flex's opinion? I don't get it.
Somebody, because you still heard about that story.
Yeah. But the gist of it is that apparently there's this rumor that Jay-Z is going to buy Hot 97. And Flex he did something, and he went on this little rant like he always does and drops the bombs every 4 seconds. And he
gets
was
the FCC on his butt.
Yeah, and he said that he said that he would end Jay, he would end him, his career. And then Cam and Jim Jones had they did a diss freestyle over Victory of all tracks. So yeah.
I guess we'll see how it plays out. It might be something, especially if Jay's talking about buying Hot 97. That might be something we're talking about later on. Funk Flex is lame as hell for that 10-minute fucking video of him repeating the same bullshit. He sounds like a fucking hurt whining dog. Shut the fuck up, Flex. No one cares. Somebody put him out of his damn misery already.
Charles says Charles says some different stuff when he's not on air.
Wait, hold on.
I just also wanted, speaking of Charles saying different stuff in regards to the Iggy thing, he also got mad at us because we didn't tell them that she tries to sell these nuts.
Whoa.
Yeah, it says it there. He said, "I also said sell these nuts, but I forgive you."
Wait, I would like to respond to something that Charles said when he said someone should put, Flex out of his misery. When is somebody gonna put Jay-Z out of his misery?
Whoa.
Yeah. It's about time for somebody to retire, Jack. I'm tired. What the hell is he going to talk about now? You got money, you got Beyonce. I don't want to hear nothing else you got to say.
I mean, yeah. What's $50,000 to a motherfucker like him? So. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. I can't do.
Oh man. So I think I think we covered everything. So I guess final words, everybody.
Oh, last thing that Charles said is, let's be real, mediocre Jay-Z is still good music. Shrug.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I like Jay right now. Like, he doesn't have anything to prove, so he can rap about whatever he wants. I like that, Jay-Z.
It's all right. It's not Blueprint Jay-Z.
True. Okay, y'all. Final words.
You first, Joe.
Next week we drop Dot's 1996 project. If you haven't heard the character select that Charles did on the website, check that out. You get to know him a little bit more, and they covered a lot of stuff. There was some stuff in there that I didn't even know about Dot. So check that out if you get a chance. Thecoalition.com, and we'll have. I'll be sure to get that album to Charles so he can post it, and probably going to do a review for it or something.
Is that going to be a purchasable album, or is that like a free drop?
Oh, for now it's a free drop. Okay. But in the future we're gonna plan on doing like a deluxe and having it paid for, I guess.
Okay. So there'll be options to support the artist later on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Cool.
What about you, Matt?
Oh man, I honestly don't have a whole lot to say. I never do on these final words. It's like trying to put me on the spot. Honestly, I'm still waiting for that.
I think Charles is typing and we can hear him.
Typing. I can. I'm still. When the hell is that Kendrick? I keep saying this every week. I'm gonna say it until it comes out. Where the hell is that Kendrick record?
That's the other thing. I saw yesterday people were on Twitter saying that Kendrick, his release date was like leaked because like Walmart took a photo of like some release dates and it had Kendrick Lamar January 27th. I don't buy it. I only saw 2 people tweeting about it, and I saw it on one website, so I'm not buying into it.
Like I said, every week I'm going to keep asking where the hell that record's at because we were supposed to get it last year.
Yep, and we were supposed to get that J-Rock last year, too.
Yeah, where the hell's that J-Rock?
Man, if they keep it up, J-Rock going to have to go back to robbing people.
He might already be robbing people.
He probably is.
He's probably robbing Kendrick.
Charles says, I think it will drop before March for sure. So it's just one of those things we'll probably have to see.
I hope so. I don't. If you guys remember, like a few weeks ago, like I got all hyped up because I saw it on Google Play, right? But there was a new Kendrick, but really it was just a re-release of a bunch of old tracks. Pissed me off.
All right, Rich, what about you? Final words?
Yeah, final words. I definitely look forward to checking out this artist that you promoted. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm going to be listening to Joey Badass, and I'll be sure to give my thoughts on that the next time. However, I will say this. If that Kendrick album does drop on the 27th, well, then I will not be talking about Joey Badass the next time. I'll be talking all about Kendrick. So I hope, for the sake of sales, that it doesn't drop next week, because that may I'll be interested to see if that impacts these other albums that just dropped.
What do you think the Kendrick record will do in a week?
Well, let me go based on those projections that you had with the other 2 artists. It will blow them numbers out the water. Significantly, I think.
Charles says 200K.
200K, you think?
I think
it'll go platinum in a week.
I don't know if it'll go platinum. I think it'll go gold in a week for sure.
But I remember in the 90s when artists would go platinum without even trying?
Yeah.
And now it just doesn't happen anymore.
I think he won't have an issue getting the platinum quick though.
Yeah. Charles said 200K, then he said actually 300K. He said fuck it, 500K.
Yeah, I believe that because I don't know if you saw his performance on the Colbert Show, but that performance, everybody was talking about that performance after, and you know that song. If that song is on the album, which I'm sure it is, I mean, come on, the whole album is like that. That album is going to, it's going to kill it.
That and his SNL performance too. His SNL performance was really good.
Ah, yeah, that's it.
All right, Charles. Any final words?
Dots and lines is fucking trash.
Fuck you.
He's saying
back on the mic for that.
The entire time for that.
He was like, I just hope it doesn't cut out.
Fucking right. Save my internet juice for that one statement that I had to get across.
Well, different strokes for different folks, man. I think it's a good song.
Well, I guarantee you we'll be talking about it some more and about how lyrical it is and, you know, all that stuff. And you know what? We didn't say lyrical anymore after the Lupe album, so I feel like everybody's buzz is wearing off.
Just chug your drinks real quick. Lyrical. There you go. Just fucking chug.
Well, that is gonna wrap. That's gonna wrap up this week's edition, episode 16 of the Turntable. Profex, he'll be your host again next week. I'm Joe Hova for Matt Dean and Richard Bailey. We're out of here.
Hi.
Lyrics.